8 baits from one squid. We've made use of an entire squid. Without doubt, squid is one of my most favourite baits to use, and they're one of the most popular baits around the world because there's squid in every ocean. I'm going to show you how you can turn one squid into 7 different baits. Okay, so I'm going to make 7 different baits. I'm going to do it with 2 squid, but you can make all these baits out of just one. Quite simply, super simple. One of the easiest to start with is a squid head. Now, there's 2 ways I like to do a squid head. First of all, you can pull the whole gut section out if you want. When you're going to do that on a squid, get your fingers in there and separate the gut section from that hard backbone there, and we try and pull that out without breaking the ink sac. Then you've got a nice hard section here, so I'm going to cut behind that hard section. Okay, very simply from this point we have a beautiful bait right there. The easiest way to rig it is single circle hook or a J hook, whatever you like. And what you want to do is get the hook through this section here. Don't worry about trying to get it down here, and I'll explain why. So that there is one of the most effective baits you can use for so many species. And the idea of it is, with a single hook, any decent fish will tend to eat head first. And the great thing about your squid is it's got those big googly eyes, and that's a thing that fish will aim for. Predators will aim for that part of the bait because that means whatever they hit there, that's pretty vital. So a single circle there is really good. The other way you can do it is, if I lay that guy over there, we'll get this bigger squid head and we'll repeat the process again. Pull all that out. Put that to the side. Because this is a bigger squid head, I like to use a 2-hook rig on it. I've got 2 J hooks here, but you can use circles, you can do whatever you want. If you're going to use a 2-hook rig with a circle, put your circle at the top and your J hook at the bottom. All right, but for now we've got these 2, and you'll see those hooks aren't far apart. So we're going to get the top hook and do exactly as we did on the single hook rig. We're going to stick it through there. It's really important that you also match the hook to the bait. You'll notice here that I've used quite a big hook in this. Why? Because it's quite a big squid head. If you put a tiny hook in there, you really risk missing the hook up on a fish because it's a big chunky bait. They get it in their mouth, they roll it round, and that little hook gets lost. Whereas this way, we have lots of hooks sticking out there. Now with the stinger hook, where I like to put it is just here at the base of the head, more so than getting it all the way down in the tentacles. And we work on that theory again, that any decent fish will hit the head section. The little taps and picks and stuff like that, that's generally smaller fish, but you can see they're really good hook exposure, and that'll work in the surf, on a deep reef, in current, wherever you need. Because it's a long bait like that, you can leave it, but I prefer to knock those 2 candles off because they make baits on their own. So we've got that there, one nice big squid head. That's bait number 1, but the final thing I'm going to do is show you how to reduce this bait, make it into 2, and then you'll get an even better hookup rate because you get the benefit of a squid head as a bait, but you reduce the size, so you increase your hookup rate on a big size squid head. Okay, bait number 2, as I was saying, I'm going to split this head. We're going to get 2 baits out of it. I'll show you a really easy way to do it. You can chop straight through like that, but you tend to find it'll be an uneven bait. So instead, open the squid head up like that. We're going to pop this beak out, just like so, because that's hard. So we get rid of that, hoik that into the ocean for the crabs and the fish, and then you just get these tentacles and you divide them up evenly, like so. And then if you do a nice clean cut straight through there, as I was saying before, you get the benefit of a squid head, and I really like the benefit being that eye and the tentacles, so your bait's got movement, just like this. But you've split the size of it down, so it obviously is going to fit into a fish's mouth much easier, and you're getting double the amount of bait. Again, you can use a 2-hook rig, or you can go to a single hook rig, whatever you want. Now with this one, because we've split the size of the bait down a little bit, we can also reduce our hook size, although there's nothing wrong with running a big hook in it. And again, you've still got that bit of hard section here in the top of the bait. Squid are a bit messy, so excuse the grubby hands, and you can see I've actually got to jam that hook through that hard section. You don't have to bury it overly deep because that is so hard. That's going to take all the load of the bait. And then from there, our stinger hook, if you wanted, you could comfortably run just a single circle in that, in the top, but I've got a little 2-hook rig here, so I'll just pin that lightly in there again. You notice all these hooks are just sitting very lightly in the bait. That means we get more hook exposure and a better hookup rate. Bait number 3, we are going to probably do one of the easiest and my all-time favorite baits, and this is a calamari ring. This works anywhere you use squid. So straight up, I've just cleaned the squid, scun him, done whatever. You can use whatever part of the squid you want, but the main thing I'll do here is I'll pop out the backbone. All right, and then from here, because I'm fussy, I like to trim that end bit off. And then a calamari ring is just so simple. Cut it just as you would if you were going to fry it up and eat it yourself. So we have the calamari ring there. You can run a single hook or a double hook rig in this, whatever you would like. But on a bait this size, quite simply, I'm going to get a single circle hook. And you can pin it either in this little end here. So that's where the backbone was running. So you see you get a nice thin fold through there, and I do like that because once we pin it, and don't pin it deep, all right, just pin it 5 mil down from the top like so. It's amazing how effective that bait is, and it is just so simple. Bait number 4, this is the squid strip. So versatile, you can use it as a static bait. You know, when you're bait fishing, you control with them, you can do anything. Easiest way to do it, take that quill out of the squid, you end up with that little skinny section through here, roll the hood on its side, and then this tends to give you a really nice, easy way to cut through. We go right to the top, chop that, open that up, clean the goo out, all right? And squid are just messy from start to finish, but the results are well worth it. Okay, now, when I'm cutting a squid strip, I like to basically, I suppose, follow this shape here. We want to make a squid strip. You can either cut them this way, like so, but you'll end up with a square end and a square end. Or if you want to get all fancy and you want a longer bait, you can just cut it like that. All right, so there you have a squid strip. Really simple, easy for fish to eat. I liken it to us eating a piece of spaghetti. The fish can just suck them in and swallow them, no problem at all. The other great thing about them is you get really good hook exposure. You can run 1 hook in it, but I do like to run 2. And again, I don't like to get the tail hook or the bottom hook right down in the bait because I want it to have movement. And as you can see just in this breeze here, that tail's got a bit of a wriggle to it. Again, simple pin through the top, all right? And then you can do it a couple of ways. You can either just pin that second hook there, make sure that you've got that little bit of slack running between there so that all the pull is off this top hook, not the bottom, because if this is bent or tight, that bait will bend and then it will spin, all right? So that's nice and straight. You can troll it, you can do whatever you want. So there you go, that's bait number 4. It's quick, it's easy, and it's deadly effective. All right, bait number 5. This is one I've been playing around with for a little while, and it proves to be really effective for all you people out there who want to troll a squid strip. It works so well for many species, probably being at the top of the list is the yellowtail kingfish. They absolutely love a trolled squid strip. I don't know why, but I've had days when they'll eat a squid strip over a live bait. So this works really well. A little bit different, but as I said, really effective. And it's really good when you've got a big squid and the meat's quite thick. What I've got here is a worm hook, just like you would fish in a normal soft plastic, like a big slugger or that style of plastic. It's got that wire keeper there on the end, and I've got myself a stinger hook here. You don't have to have the stinger, but I've rigged this up with a stinger just to show you. And the other final bit of this bait that you can do, because we're going to troll it, instead of having this big flat end here, it's amazing how if you just knock the very edges off that bait, so it's got a slight bit of a taper to it, it can make all the difference to this bait running dead straight. But with this system, your bait runs dead straight because you've got the worm hook, and on this case I've got a little bit of lead on the bottom there, but you don't have to have that. And then you've got that wire keeper, and we simply get that and we wind that in like so. All right, so all of the load is now taken on that wire keeper. Then we are going to work out where that hook goes through, bend the bait, stick the hook through, and you have about the ultimate way to rig a squid strip. All right, as you can see, works so well. You've got that keel system that works to hold the bait dead straight, and then the other bonus is that that long skinny tail just wriggles along behind the bait as you're trolling or doing whatever you may be doing. So from there, if you want to run a stinger hook, I've just got a bit of leader there to another hook here, and really lightly, sort of 2/3 the way down the bait, we're just going to slide that in there. Now that is an absolutely deadly way to rig a squid strip. Not something I think a lot of people do, but trust me, it is fail safe. With that worm hook, your bait just tracks beautifully every single time. I'll give you one other little thing you can do. Get a little skirt of some sort, or just a plain pink or white skirt, or a little pusher style here, or a jet head, or whatever you want. Drop that over the top, and now instead of that just skipping across the surface, it's actually going to kick and wriggle, and it's got a bit of color to it. So there's just a whole lot of stuff you can do. You can play around, and it's really mixing up your options. We've got the squid strip, we've got a nice big hook in there, we've got a stinger hook there. That is pretty dangerous as far as it goes for a whole range of pelagic species. I'll slide that back off. There you go. I love this rig. Like I said, it's been so effective. All right, bait number 6. You'll remember I cut these candles off that squid head back at the start. This is a great bait. Now, if you've got them fresh and you're using them, you've just caught them and you're using them fresh, it's fine. But what tends to happen after they've been frozen, and this is a frozen one that I've thawed out, you'll find that they curl. They get this sort of like curl to them, and they're not as good. So I'll leave this whole for now to show you. Again, I do like a 2-hook rig in a squid candle. All right, and you can pin it straight through the end like that, but I do tend to, on a smaller squid like this, I'll just fold the end over like 20 mil, and then I'll put that top hook through both, because the candles are sort of a softer meat. So by that, we've just doubled the thickness up, makes it a bit stronger and a bit better hold. All right, and then we've got that second hook there, which you can go through the bait like that if you want, or the way I tend to do it for whatever reason, just because it works for me, is I do a little reverse pin like so, slide the hook there, and then so I've got one hook facing that way, one hook facing that way. And again, you'll notice I've got these hooks, they're not too far apart, and the reason for that, any decent fish, they do still tend to eat it at the top, but the other thing is it's a long skinny bait and they can easily suck that in and end up with hooks, no problem at all. Super simple. And the other one, if you find that you've had it in the water for a while and you pull it in and this is all curled up and not looking so good, just simply lob that end off like that, and you've still got yourself a nice long skinny bait. And again, great in current, great on the surf, deep water fishing, whatever you want. That is one of the easiest and the skinniest baits that you can put on. All right, so bait number 7, and this is why I needed 2 squid. This is a pretty great bait and a bit of a favorite of mine. This is why I grabbed 2 squid to show you, but you can effectively do a whole lot out of one. So again, we have a squid hood, and you could fish that whole as it is. I like to peel the wings and the skin off it. Why? Because you end up with this nice bright white bait that sits beautifully in current. You could troll that if you wanted to. It'll just go perfectly through the water. Right, squid hood, very easily. Top hook on a 2-hook rig. On a bait like this, I would definitely run a 2-hook rig. Through like that, I tend to go from the underside to the top side because that tip of the hood always curls back a little bit. And then from there, we can just get our second hook, put that in there like so. We have a squid hood. The bonus to that is if it's too long, you can chop some calamari rings off it and you get some extra baits like so, and you can keep doing it till you end up with a bait that's the size you want. But if you're fishing for a mulloway or a king or whatever it may be, a big reef fish, they will scoff that, no problem at all. Now, as a bonus bait, and I want to do this because then we've made use of the entire squid. So squid wings, I used to throw them out until my mate Dwayne Blake was like, Lee, you're an idiot, because they are great whiting bait or a great little strip bait. So again, I peel the skin off, we get rid of that. All right, you end up with this hard piece here. You can leave that on, but if you run your knife along like so, you take that off. All right, put that aside, put that aside. Now for all you people that are fishing for potentially some smaller fish, you might be gathering some bait or chasing some whiting. This is really, really easy. Trim that back like so. Get rid of that. All right, and then just for the sake of it, we go like this. And here we have a perfect little strip bait. It's just a mini squid strip. Then if you get your little whiting hook or whatever it may be, fishing for bream, the tip I'll give you is, see how you've got that little tapered edge there? You can either cut it so it's flat. If you've got the tapered edge, you want to have the pointy end of this squid strip, right? That's the side you want to pin it from first. It just tends to sit better in the current that way. And there you have a mini squid strip that will catch you so many fish. So there you go, that's a great little bait for a range of species, and what makes the wing so good is obviously it's fatter at the top end and it tapers out to being really skinny at the bottom end, so this bait actually gets a bit of movement in it. It's great for a range of species. So there you have it, we have made use of an entire squid. We've made 8 different baits for a range of species, not only anywhere in Australia, but anywhere around the world. So get out there, give this a go, and I'm sure you'll have some great success.